Okay, before we even start, check out this wall behind me. Just trying to get this thing all set up. My wife is, so please ignore all this mess right here in the back, the caulk and everything moved around. Hopefully it's done soon. Still want to record this video, did not want to not have my face on it, so just ignore all the mess behind me in this video. What we're going to talk about here is if you're watching this, you should already be getting leads inside your business. If you're not getting leads in your business, this video is not going to help you at all because we're only going to be talking about how you can convert more leads by setting up right systems inside of Salesforce so that we can convert more people, okay? And we're going to do that with 3 easy steps. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it in this video, step by step in a tutorial. We're going to go through it all together. You're going to see me build it in Salesforce. So you could just do this in your business, hopefully this week, and see an uptick in some conversions this coming quarter. We just started Q2, so this is a good initiative for you guys to do. Step 1, we're going to get in here. We're going to talk about how we can look at bad data in Salesforce first. So we want to clean it up. If you have bad data, that's things like open opportunities, open leads, open loops, basically, on all these people that have come through and we're not following up on them. So step 1, we're going to clean those out. We either need to convert those to an opportunity, we need to delete them, we need to mark them as a duplicate, we need to do something with them. Otherwise, it's inflating numbers and it makes it overwhelming for you to even start tackling this project. So first thing, we're going to clean it. Second piece is we're going to build a report to find leads that have not had any activity on them in the last 60 days. That's going to then help us understand what we need to build out for an automation in step 3. So step 2 is like, here's the issue. We're finding X amount of leads inside of our system that don't have any recent activity on them. What do we need to do about this? And then step 3, automate it, because if you're an operator, you don't want to be doing this every single day. So every day you're not going to come in and clean leads and take out the duplicates and then pull a report and look at it and then pass that over to whoever needs to see it and then just keep doing that over and over and over again. Plus you're going to take PTO, plus you're going to get sick, plus you're going to leave the company one day. So it's just not sustainable to do it that way. We got to build some kind of automation. We're going to do that also together. That's going to be a flow inside of Salesforce. So this is literally a step-by-step tutorial I am just handing to you so you can hopefully do this inside your business this week. And in Q2, now that we're here, you can hopefully see an uptick in conversions with your sales team, and everybody's happier when there's more sales. So without further ado, let's get started with step 1. So step 1 here is going to be cleaning things out. Let me hurry and pull up that page for us. So step 1, to clean this, you're going to pull a report. So there's going to be 2 reports you're pulling, one for this and one for the next one that we're going to do in step 2. Step 1, I would go to all, I would type in leads. You're going to see leads here. You're going to hit start report. Now I'm going to pause this so you don't get bored with everything that I'm about to do. I'll show you the filters. I'll show you everything after. But basically, we're just going to look at a report that has all of the open leads inside of our Salesforce, and we're going to find stuff that is showing as old, stale, duplicate, all that kind of stuff. So let me hurry and pause and come back. Just like that, you have this report. So I named this one leads, no activity, 60 days. Feel free to do what you want, but 60 days without anybody touching this, probably pretty safe to say this is a dead deal, right? Either they weren't interested or they were, and we just needed to push these over to an opportunity. And your sales rep is probably still working this. They may have even just created an opportunity because they forgot about it and they didn't convert it. And so they created a duplicate for you and now they're working the opportunity. So several reasons why that might be, but if someone hasn't touched it in 60 days, it's been my experience that this thing is likely going to be dead. Okay. This is all fake information. This is a fake org that I have here set up to demo this type of stuff. So we can see information in here that's all fake, nothing sensitive. And inside of here, right, I can look at all the leads that I have available to me in this fake sandbox. Over here in this column, this is really what we care about, is this last activity. So last activity, you can see there's nothing associated to these leads that is going to tell me that they would be relevant. Somebody has done something with it, a phone call, an email, some type of follow-up of some sort that they've done. I don't have that available to me here. So this automatically is flagging this for me as an issue. Okay, so these would be the 30 leads I think I had. This thing's kind of in our way. Yep, 30 leads that would all be some type of problem that we don't want to actually move forward, or maybe they've already been moved forward and we got to figure something out with. So now that we have this, I would do 2 things if you're the operator. I would either go to the sales team, like a sales manager, have a meeting, review this. And if you have multiple teams, divide this up by the different territories. If I need to talk to the West and the East people, cool, let's do that. I would look at these and then we would review what those things were that I just pointed out. Are these opportunities that have already been created? Can I pull another report that would associate these leads to that person? Do these names exist elsewhere in Salesforce, and are they associated to an account or an opportunity? If yes, okay, these are duplicates and we needed to delete these. And then maybe that gives us the opportunity to know there's probably some user training that we got to do to tell people that's not the way you do it. You're supposed to convert the lead and create an account, contact, and opportunity. You're not supposed to just go create a brand new opportunity, account, and contact on your own and leave the lead alone. So we're going to do that. Also gives us a chance to vet this out with the sales team, the people that are going to be working these. What's going on with these things? Did they die? Yes, no. Okay, great. Then it's also going to give you that second opportunity for another piece of user training, which is what are we doing with the activities? How come there's no notes on this? How come there aren't any activities on this? How come I can't see that you've called these people, you've emailed them, you've followed up? That might open things up depending on where you're at in this process. This is pretty early, but if this is you, we usually work with people 3 million to 100 million. So if you're more towards maybe 3 million to 10 million, there is a thing you can do where you can hook up your Gmail and your Outlook to Salesforce. That allows you to have the sales rep just email people, and then it captures that activity inside of Salesforce for you so that they don't have to do it twice. If you don't have that set up, hopefully that's a little gem for you. Go get that set up so that you would know, because the conversation might be, well, I have been, right? I've been following up with this guy. Emails, got a bunch of them. They're all right here. It's just not in Salesforce, and I didn't want to do it twice. Okay, set that up so that it's always over there and you don't have that problem. The other issue just might be they're literally not doing it. So you have that opportunity to talk with the sales rep. Hey, we got to do this so that we know what's relevant, what's not relevant. Great. So that's more or less how I would attack this first part. You can fill in the blanks with anything I didn't say. Wanted to give you some rough guidelines there of really what I would say or what I have said to the sales reps in the past, the sales managers in the past. But fill in the blank for whatever it is that you would need to say. The point is trying to say, we found a bunch of people over here in this report that haven't been touched. At least I can't see that they've been touched. What's going on with this? What do we need to do with this? You'll immediately be able to mark some as duplicates, get rid of some of them, mark some as not interested. Either way, it's going to help you, because if we mark all 30 of these as not interested, we now have a lead report we could pull and show the close won, close lost leads that have come through by saying interested or not interested, or converted and not interested. So this is a really good first step to go through. Cool. All right, let's do step 2. We're going to go to the same spot. I'm going to go into reports. We're going to pull a new report. This is also going to be a lead report. So you saw me do the same thing. We'll hit all, go to leads, hit start report. All right, I'll pause it again. I'm going to put this in, but basically this is going to be us looking at something very similar, but we're going to narrow it down to look for last activity that hasn't happened in the last 7 days or so. That's going to help us understand, hey, these are things being actually worked, but we're not updating them, or we don't have any recent updates. So we either need to nudge the sales rep or the sales manager, or, if someone's on PTO, someone got fired, these slip through the cracks. Great. These are 7 or 10 or however many pop up leads that have not been touched in the last 7 days. And it's because so-and-so got fired or left or quit. And yeah, we didn't reassign this to somebody else, and we're going to lose the deal if we don't. So I'm going to hurry and pull that up. I'll show you the filters again, and we'll do the same thing. Okay, again, here we go. We got the report. Going to bear with me a little bit. Again, this is demo data, so it's not going to be like yours. This is just me kind of manipulating what I have in here. But you could see that we had 30 total leads, and now we got 28. I added a few activities on some of these, so you could see that it would change and something got filtered out, okay? So what we're looking at here is these would be the last 28 leads. You can see that I just created these all a couple days ago. So these would be, hypothetically in your own org, the ones that we are working, that are active, somebody is doing something with it. And in the last 7 days or more, we have not logged anything on this lead. So again, it's a conversation of why aren't we doing that? Where are the notes at? Are you doing that somewhere else? It's just not transferring to Salesforce. All of this is helpful as an operation standpoint, because this is what I would look for as a Salesforce consultant, or your RevOps manager, or your marketing ops manager, or your sales ops manager. All the operation type people, they're looking at these patterns. This is why this stuff matters. If I can't pull a report and look at this stuff, and we're not going to commit to leaving activities inside of Salesforce, well, then my job of trying to help you save money and make more money and fix stuff that's broken, I can't do that because when I pull reports here, I can't actually see the patterns. I don't understand what's actually wrong. Because if I go to you and you say, well, no, I'm logging stuff. I'm just not logging it inside of Salesforce. Again, that's a problem for me because then I don't know that. And I would assume that these leads are all dead, like nobody's working them. So that's a whole reason of why we want to make sure stuff's getting filled out inside of Salesforce. And so that people like myself or your operators can then pull reports like this and then figure out what's going wrong with it. Now, what this would look like for your report so you can see it, if I hit edit here and I go to my filters, I'm going to move this to the other side. If I can, there we go. I don't know why it's not going further than that. We'll leave it right there. Okay, so what you would do is you're going to look at all leads. I do create time as all time. And then we're just adding a couple filters here that you're going to want to change to say or. So when you add two of these in a row, you can click this drop down and you can see that there is a filter logic. That's what I added here. That then allows me to say 1 and 2, 1 or 2, 1 and 2 and 3. Like you can add more and more filters. So ours is saying or, and what we're saying is that the last activity is less than last week. When you go to write this inside of here, you can either select a specific date or you can just write relative dates. Relative dates, they give you the example, so it's not hard to figure out. You could also Google these and they'll tell you, but it's yesterday, last week, next 30 days, last month, next year, last fiscal year. Like you can write all those kind of things inside of caps lock and it will understand, oh, last week means within, the last 7 days. Okay, so we're looking for anything in the last 7 days and or activity is just blank. So these all fit that criteria. Now, if I change this slightly, just so you can see that this actually worked, we say this is greater than instead of less than, and we take off the blank and I run this again. This is now going to show me the two that I did add an activity for. So we know this is working. This is a good kind of easy way for you to check yourself. Over here, here's the ones that do have activity. One from the first, one from the second. So we know that this is pulling in correctly. It's looking at the activities correctly for ourselves. That's what I would do second. That's going to now help you understand how big of a problem this is. Now, in my experience doing this with most companies, I tend to find a decent amount, especially again, if you're in those earlier stages, you haven't automated a lot of this process yet. This is usually a kind of a big problem here. But the good news is we can really fix this quick. And there's an awesome automation we're going to do now in step 3 to make sure that you don't ever have to do this step again. Now that we've seen it all once, we know it's a problem. We're going to automate this so that we can clean this up and you don't have to be the one hounding everybody as the operator or the CEO or the manager. It's just going to take care of itself automatically inside of Salesforce. So to do that, what we got to do next is we got to go to this button called Setup. This is going to open up kind of the back end of Salesforce for us. I apologize, you lost my face here. I'll probably have to pause it and come back. But inside of here, we go to this quick find. You're going to type in Flow. That's what these automations are called. You don't need to worry about what the name is. Just know that Flow equals automation. And then inside of here, we can create whatever we would like. So we're going to hit New Flow. I'm going to go ahead and build this out and do the same thing that I've done with you. Oh, great. I'm back. I'll build this out, show you what I'm doing here after the fact once I have it ready to go so you can take a look at it. Okay, and this isn't like a technical video that I'm doing with you guys, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this piece of it just to get the point across. I put some elements in here. Now, obviously, you'd have to configure this all the way that you want to for your business, but this will give you a general idea of what you can do in here. So here's the automation we would build. Inside of here, this is going to be a scheduled flow. What that means is that you're triggering this automation to happen like every day, every week, at a certain time, once. There's like a certain criteria or trigger point of when you want this thing to happen, okay? So in our case, we're gonna do a scheduled flow. We're gonna do it daily. And then what I would advise from here, depending on how big your business is, it's always nice to do this at a time when maybe things are lower. So if this is like a big automation you'd run, you do it at night, midnight, or something like that when nobody's using the system. In this situation, it might be a little bit different though, because we're trying to send an email to the sales rep. I would, I guess, work with your sales manager or your sales rep and understand what time that would be best. Maybe they do prefer it at midnight and then they just wake up the next day and they see the email and see the notification. If you want to do this during the day though, there's like a certain period of time in the day that they're going to be prospecting and looking at this kind of stuff, their email and their Slack, then I would choose that time. So go to them and figure that out. But basically what we have this doing is running every single day at a certain period of time. And then inside of here is where you can set this entry criteria. Okay. And there's two ways to do this first part. Again, I won't try to get too technical here, but basically there's two parts of what you could do. You could either set up a formula field on the lead that would look at the last 7 days, and it would be a true or false. If it's true, obviously we know this has been greater than 7 days, and therefore we should fire off this automation to run for that specific lead because we know that there hasn't been activity in the last 7 days. If you don't want to do it that way, you don't want to create another field on the object, you can go in here and you can create what's called a decision. It's exactly what it sounds like. You can set up that type of logic inside of here that would basically just say, has it been 7 days? Over here to my left, there's a way to create formulas inside of here. I've already done that. This would be called last 7 days. And then you'd set this as your criteria. So today -7, that's going to then look at the date. Has it been 7 days? You can see that this is valid. It's good to go. And then you can use this formula that you only created inside of this automation. It doesn't exist anywhere else. And you can use that in your decision element within this automation to then make that decision. So there's two ways to do that. Usually, I guess depends again on how many fields you guys have, but I feel like in the past, I've always kind of leaned more this route of like creating the formula inside the automation and then doing a decision element. But there's probably an argument for both because then you're kind of firing this off on every single lead and then you're making a decision and then you're ending it. So you're going to use up, more of like your API and stuff like that, or more of like the limits that you have within your system is what I should say. So just be aware of that piece of it. Okay. So if you don't want it to do that, you only want it to fire off on the specific lead that is having the problem, then you're going to want to make sure that you create that formula field on the lead and then have that formula only run if that is the triggering point. So it is a little more efficient to do it that way. Okay, cool. I won't get any more technical than that, I promise. From there, we can basically do a couple of things that you can see below. What we're going to then do is go and get the sales rep. So we do that by looking at the lead that got triggered. It says, hey, it raised its hand. We have a problem. This one doesn't have activity in the last 7 days. So we're flagging it. We're going to run it through this automation. What do we want to do from here? Very first step is get the sales rep's info. We can do that by looking at the lead owner. The lead owner should be assigned to the sales rep. So we can get his Salesforce ID by looking at that. So we're going to get his info. That's going to be important so that we can then send an email out to that specific person. We now know who that individual is. It's Luke. Cool. We're going to send an email out to Luke. You can also send a Slack message if you prefer to do that. You can do both. You could do one or the other. Sometimes I even see 3 where you'd also do a Salesforce notification. Inside of Salesforce, like regular over here, you usually have this bell, this notification bell. You can trigger that to also have a notification for them too. So it just kind of depends what people are going to be preferring. Again, speak with the sales manager, the sales rep. Would you look at this if it was an email or only in Slack, or do you need both? And you can make the decision from there. So this is more or less what this would look like. And again, this is super helpful so that now we pulled the report, we looked at what was wrong. Now there's an automation in place that is going to do this every single day for you. So after you've cleaned up all the bad leads, which you should have done first, and you've got that all taken care of, everything moving forward should be good to go. So now, so we don't run into this situation again, this automation is just going to do the work for us. It's also nice because it doesn't put your name on it. It's not you hounding them. It's literally just an automation that pings them. So in that automation, it's going to come through in an email or Slack and just say something like, hey, so-and-so, it looks like this lead, and you can actually create a link to that lead that would say this lead here, and if you click it, it'll bring you right to Salesforce, has not had activity in the last 7 days. What's going on with this? Or please update it, or whatever you want that message to say. Now, if you want to go the extra step, which I included in my newsletter this last week, which is kind of the secret sauce of trying to have the sales manager involved, I would advise maybe doing 2 different automations here, or maybe picking one or the other. Maybe you only want to do this if it's been a really, really long time, so you're not annoying to the sales reps. Maybe you only want to do this if it's been more than 30 days. In that situation, you could probably have just one automation, and you could include the sales manager to also get these notifications because it's probably warranted at that point. If you do something short, like 3 days, you probably don't want to ping their sales manager. That's going to create like a false flag. The sales manager is going to see all those come through, and it's not going to really seem like a problem to them yet because it's only been 3 days. So I wouldn't advise including the sales manager if it's that short of notice. You could also do both. Like I said, you could set one up where we have one just for the sales rep that's 3 to 5 days, 7 days, something like that. And then we have another one that gets triggered if it's more than 30 days, and that one you include the sales manager. So just kind of an extra step there where you can pull in the right people so that they're aware of it. That makes their job a little bit easier for coaching and one-on-ones and quota attainment and forecasting. So when you guys are all following up with them, the operators, the sales manager is not caught off guard by feeling like they're getting picked on or the sales reps getting picked on. They should be well aware with all these emails that are coming through that there's a problem with this person pretty consistently of not filling out activity. So really cool way to do this. So hopefully this is helpful to actually see this all built out live. I'll try to do more of these as we move forward with some of those newsletters. I feel like this is actually stuff that you could just take and build yourself, and it's instant value for you. Of course, if this is something you want my team to just do for you, something we've done time and time again, you can click the link below. It'll bring you over to our website. We can see if we're a good fit for you. We only work with tech businesses, and we only work with tech businesses that are growing from 3 million to 100 million. So you at least have to be making 3 million in ARR for us to be a good fit for you. If that is the case, like I said, love to work with you and set something up like this. And if that is you, the one watching this, look forward to speaking with you soon. Appreciate it.